In this video, I'm going to tell you why I chose to use Philips Hue light bulbs. Make sure you stick around, and if you like what you see, make sure to hit subscribe below so you don't miss out on future videos. Hi, I'm Will from Surridge Tech, and today we're going to be looking at Philips Hue light bulbs. We'll start off by looking at the different Hue products there are out there, and then we'll have a look at the app and the features of the ecosystem. I'll then tell you why I decided to get Philips Hue when I did, and why I now have it throughout my house. If you stick around until the end, I'm going to show you how you can use widgets to set up scenes for multiple rooms and control them all at once. Philips Hue started in 2012 as an Apple Store exclusive. Obviously, it's now much more readily available. The Philips Hue light bulbs speak in Zigbee. That means you need a hub so you can talk to them through the Wi-Fi and the internet. Philips Hue have a wide range of products, from light bulbs, light strips, accessories and lamps. And we're going to go through each of those. You can also get a starter kit. This generally includes the hub, a couple of bulbs and potentially even an accessory. So starting with the Hue bulbs, there are three main types. You can get the white one, which has a colour temperature of 2700 Kelvin, the white ambience one, which has a colour temperature range of between 2200 Kelvin and 6500 Kelvin, or the white and colour ambience. This adds in the potential for any colour, over 16 million possibilities. You can also get a filament bulb that looks like the old school filament bulbs. This has a colour temperature of 2100 Kelvin. All the new bulbs also have Bluetooth. This means you can control up to 10 bulbs from a separate app without the need of a hub. This doesn't quite have as many features, so I'd recommend getting a hub, especially as you can pick one up on eBay for about £20. Now the bulbs come in different shapes and fittings, from a globe to a spot, from an E14 to a GU10. Next up we have the light strip. I've never had one myself, so I can't really comment, but to me they seem like a big waste of money. You can get much cheaper LED strip with an LED driver for considerably less on eBay or Amazon. Admittedly, the Hue stuff will have a much better colour accuracy, but if you get your own, you could even get a digital one where you can have each pixel at a different colour if you wanted, or you can run effects down the line. With Hue, it's got to be static, so the whole strip has to be the same colour. Next up we have the lamps. Some of these may look really nice, but a lot of them are a complete rip-off. They're just a standard shell with a Philips Hue light bulb inside. So you would save a lot of money by going to an electrical store and picking your own shell and then just buying a Hue light bulb separately. Don't get me wrong, some of the designs are really nice, but I do feel like you can get them a lot cheaper and potentially even nicer designs, or at least with a wider range, from an electrical store. There are some lamps that I do like. You've got the Play light bar, which is brilliant for backlighting your TV or integrating with your Ambilight setup. And then you've got the Hue Go. Now this is great because it's got a 4-hour battery life. I have mine integrated in my Ambilight, as you can see in my other video. But then when I'm eating outside or having an evening outside, I can unplug it and just take it with me to provide a bit more ambient light. They've also got the Iris and the Bloom. Both of these just look like an ugly version of the Go to me. Next we're on to the accessories. There's a selection of different switches so you can program the different buttons to do different things. You've got some motion detectors, a smart plug and the Hue Sync box. Now the switches are great because you can control different lights or different groups with the switches, and you can program different scenes on different buttons if you wish. You can also get light switch covers, so you can mount the Hue switches directly over your normal light switch so nobody can accidentally power down your Hue bulbs. Motion sensors do exactly what they say on the tin. I'm sure if you're fully in the Hue ecosystem, they're great to turn off and on lights when you enter or leave a room. But personally, if you've got an extra hub like an Amazon Echo device or even Home Assistant, you can probably get much cheaper motion sensors out there that do the same job. The same applies for the smart plugs. There are definitely considerably cheaper options out there. The HDMI sync box is a really good idea. It's designed to turn an ordinary TV into an Ambilight TV by analysing the pixels and expanding the colours into your Hue bulbs. I think this would be a lot better if you could have a digital LED strip that had controllable pixels. But with the current Hue lineup, I think it's a bit of a waste of money. you're much better off getting an Ambilight TV. I've also heard that it's a bit laggy and slow to respond. Let's have a look at some of the Hue features. You can do quite a lot in the Hue app, controlling rooms or zones or even light bulbs individually. You also have a lot of routines that you can set up for when you're leaving or arriving home, or for when you're waking up or even going to sleep. There's also a thing called Hue Labs. Now this provides a selection of more advanced effects and a way that you can implement some more complicated routines into your setup. I've never really got on with Hue Labs. I've tried it a few times, but whenever I seem to install it, it's really difficult to use and to interface with and to customise. So I've never properly used it. I would say it's a bit of a letdown of the Hue experience if I'm honest. A nice feature of Hue is the power on behaviour. This means that if you have a power outage and the power is restored, it's the state that the light bulb will go back to. In some rooms you might want this light bulb to go back to full, but in rooms like the bedroom, if you had a power cut in the middle of the night, you wouldn't want all your lights to come on, so you can set them to not come on at all after a power outage. This is a great little feature. We've also got the out-of-home control. If you have a Hue hub and link an account, you can control your bulbs from anywhere across the world over the internet, which is a great add-on. Now we're on to the bad side of Hue, the bulbs themselves. The bulbs aren't particularly bright and they're not particularly saturated, especially if you compare them to LifeX. Unfortunately, they're also quite expensive, especially if you want a light strip or some of the lamps. So why did I get Hue in the first place? Well, I got my starter kit in November of 2017. I got 3 coloured bulbs and a Hue hub for just £90. That's half the RRP. I have to say, since then, I haven't bought any Hue products at full price. Hue are often doing a 3 for 2 deal, or you can find them reduced on Amazon or Currys. I got my light switches for just £10 when they're usually £20. If you make the most of these deals, then the bulbs aren't actually that expensive. I would also suggest really thinking about which category of bulb you want. You can save a lot of money by buying the plain white bulbs as opposed to the full colour ones. We've only got 4 full colour bulbs in our house, and they're just providing a little bit of extra ambience into some rooms. In the rooms where I don't have these coloured bulbs, I'm using a cheap LED strip and it's doing the same thing, but saving a lot of money. We have white ambience light bulbs in most of the rooms because it's nice to be able to have that warm light in the evenings and the colder light in the mornings. That being said, there are some rooms where this doesn't apply. In the kitchen, we've just got the plain white bulbs to save a bit of money. If you've got spotlights, I'd suggest mixing it up a bit. So maybe you put the white ambience bulbs directly over the dining room table, and then you use plain white bulbs for the rest of the housings. You can then set up scenes for the evening where you only got the white ambience bulbs on, and the plain white bulbs aren't even turned on. Again, you can save a lot of money by being clever about your design. So I haven't actually told you why I use Hue. Well, at the time, Hue was the big brand. It was the big name. It was the first thing that was listed on things like Amazon and Harmony. I didn't have many smart products at the time, and I didn't really know what I'd be expanding into, so I wanted to make sure I had something that would be fully compatible with anything I bought down the line. Yes, the market has expanded now, but a lot of the competition haven't been around very long, so you don't know what their life's going to be like. Also, a lot of the competition uses Wi-Fi rather than Zigbee. If you're planning on converting your whole home into these smart light bulbs, then you don't want that many Wi-Fi devices on your network. Obviously, I bought into the Hue ecosystem at the time, and I've ever since been stuck with it. But I don't regret that at all. Now that I've started using things like Home Assistant, I know that if I needed a brighter bulb, then I could get one and just integrate it through Home Assistant rather than having to rely on Hue. But if you're in the Hue ecosystem, that is a great place to be. They've got some great products, they've had a great history, and they've got some great features. I said I'd show you how to create widgets to control your scenes, so here we go. This is a great way to combine lots of scenes of multiple rooms into one button. We need to go into the Hue app, over to settings and click on widgets. We can give our widget a name and an icon. We can then select which rooms we want to control with our widget. Annoyingly, you can only select 4 rooms, but that should be enough for most cases. If we go back, we can see our list of rooms. We then click on each room and we get a list of all the scenes relevant to that room. Once we've chosen all our scenes, we need to save it, and then we can go over to our widgets and try it out. The new widget should appear with the name and the icon. If we click it, the scene should trigger. And there we go. That's why I have Philips Hue in my house. Make sure you hit subscribe so you can find out more about my tech and how you can build yourself the ultimate smart home.